Good morning, Austin, and welcome to the Atheist Experience. My name is Ray Blevins, my co-host Joe Zamecki.
Hey-yo.
And then we have some of the atheist community of Austin. There's a lot more atheists out there than this, but this is Atheist Community of Austin.
It's unanimous.
Yes. So at this time, we thought we'd do a quick introduction of the group there. If you don't mind, we'll start here with Sue here.
Hi, Mary Sue. Glad to be here. I'm Michelle.
Jeff.
Genevieve Kent.
David.
Harry.
Alita.
Rodney.
Earl.
Jen.
This is Jenny. I'm Peggy.
Misty.
Warren.
Don.
Keenan.
Yes, and we.
Hi.
Oh. Normally, we meet at the Hot Jumble Bakery, and this is the group that most of the group that shows up down there. So, and it seems like every week after the show, I go down there and I talk to them, and they come up with all these great things I should have said onto these callers on the show. So I have them on here this morning. So we are live December 20th. We're taking your phone calls live on the air. If you've got any questions, we have quite the brain trust here of atheists here to hopefully answer any questions you might have. As it was talking about the Solstice special, the Solstice is December 21st, which is tomorrow. And for thousands of years before the Christians cannibalized the solstice, I was seeing what's going on off camera, sorry. It was always celebrating the New Year and the sun coming back and everything else. And then in Constantine in 300, I forget the exact year.
313.
Thank you, David. David, feel free to fill us in more information on that. Yes, that's why you're here. Actually converted Christian and pagan and came up with the version of Christianity we have today, didn't he, David? From what I understand, up until then, Christmas was celebrated in January. Isn't that true?
Well, Constantine declared officially that Jesus Christ was born on December 25th.
But up until then, it was celebrated in January, right?
Well, under the Julian calendar, it varied. It fell very often on December 25th, but through that whole period there,
oh, it did.
it wasn't a set date.
He also brought the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday too, didn't he?
That whole thing I'm going to bring up next week when we do this historical treatment of was Jesus fact or fiction.
All right, excellent point.
It's going to be treated. Going to cover that.
And I see we have a caller already. Do you folks want to try it? Like I say,
Sure. We're live.
We're going live on the air here. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
I don't hear anything. Darn it! I don't think we checked everything.
I did do a phone check, so
we?
that should come through. Hello.
Caller?
I guess not. Well, give us a call. We're live.
It went off the air.
You're
Okay. Someone cut him off there. Please try again. We'll get all the technical difficulties worked out here shortly. I brought along the Solstice card that I sent out to several people here this year. And if you don't mind, I'll read it real quick. All right. In this cold, let me start all over. In this cold, drizzly season, whenever the days are punctuated with glorious chemius of bright yellow sunshine, full quite reverence inherited from ancient cultures and ancestors, our gratitude to the sun that unites us. The internal warmth that sustains all life, kids, kittens, tulips, grandmothers, butterflies, and asks nothing in return. December 21st is the ancient holiday, winter solstice, a merry feasting time to celebrate longer days and the rebirth of the sun on its journey through the spring. Happy winter solstice and Merry New Year. Just letting people know that there are other things out there besides Christmas cards. And I thought that one was nice.
Yes.
And excuse me,
Yeah.
Ray,
Yes.
where can we find those cards?
Well, technically, I don't think I'm allowed to do that, Sue. I'm sorry. We're not allowed to sell stuff on the.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yes. It's,
Maybe you can look on the internet.
Yeah. Or call our voicemail, which is 371-2911, and we can give you information over the phone about how to.
Oh, great.
But we're not allowed to sell stuff on the Access Channel. I appreciate it. We have a special guest in here this morning too. Zumba's Coffee donated coffee this morning. We wanted to thank them very much for it's a brand new business here in town. Zumba's It's a drive-through espresso and smoothie. That's a neat idea. Lots of luck with that.
There's the name there.
Yes.
Thanks.
But Vic. And Vic, you're not supposed to put that address up till the end of the show. Sorry.
Well.
They count that as advertising, and you're not allowed to do that. So, I thought I explained that to Vic. Vic's running the control booth. We are live December 20th. We'll take your phone calls live on the air. The number will be coming back up there in a minute.
I have one announcement.
Sure.
We have a blood drive. About every 3 months we try to have a blood drive. And this next one is going to be January 23rd of 1999. And we all try to go down there and give some blood. It's a good idea for society. And thanks. I guess that was it for that one.
Okay. I also brought this in this morning. I found this when I stopped for gas. And look at this title here. It says, Scientists' Startling Blood of Christ Discovery, New Mysteries of the Bible Solved. And it goes through here, what your sightings of angels mean, secrets of the evil number 666, how can you be sure your place in heaven, hidden message that will change your life forever, where Jesus is really buried, exact place and time and the Messiah's return, end times, and the true location of Noah's Ark and Garden of Eden. And I thought we might go over this and have my audience here help me debunk some of the stuff here. The first thing right off the bat, when I read it, it doesn't say anything about what scientists, where you can actually verify any of these claims that they're doing. So it's basically one person's opinion, if you ask me, because there's no bibliography, no reference points, or anything else. We can start with what does it mean if you see an angel? What do you think, guys? What do you guys think it means? Anybody?
Well, Harry.
Too much tequila.
You ought to be committed.
Huh?
You ought to be committed.
Okay, there you go. It says angels are God's messengers, and when they arrive on earth, they can take many forms, including animals.
Okay.
Don't expect angels always to appear as creatures of dazzling light. Dr. Mariner says that woman who helps you pick up your spilled groceries in the supermarket parking lot could be an angel.
Or a mugger.
Even the friendly stray dog who wags his tail and grins when he sees you could be an angel in animal form. But no matter what shape they take, angels are here on earth to let you know God is thinking about you and is very interested in your welfare. Accept angels for what they are, appreciate the help they can give, and remember to thank God for His kindness.
I think I saw an angel going through a trash can this morning, Ray.
Right.
Does it have a long tail?
No, just right. Keith, you had a point? Go ahead, Keith.
Stand up
I
and
was
speak it
wondering
out.
if we needed a microphone for down here so that if people are going to talk so they can be heard. Can they be heard just like this?
The cameras, I wish, was on them when they're talking. There you go.
That
So
mic
let
should
us
be
know,
sufficient.
Arlo, how's the sound?
Yeah, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you through here.
Yeah.
Everything sounds good to me.
Sound man says it's coming through.
Just got to project.
Yeah. So they say this Dr. Milner doesn't say what qualifications this doctor, what his PhD is, or even if it's a man or a woman. It says just the last name, and that's all they have. It's just that one paragraph about angels. So I guess it's pretty hard to debunk that when they don't say any facts. They just say they can be any form you want, anything, any place you want, and you're supposed to accept them for what they are. So, anybody else have anything else about angels you'd like to
Ray,
say?
it's the sun. Consider the source.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, you didn't say the name of the thing, did you?
Oh yes, yes. I never buy this thing, and the sun.
And there's proof.
That doesn't mean I stole this one. I actually bought this one. I realized that when I said that. No, I didn't shoplift this. So.
Return of the Sun.
All right. The next thing it says, does the burial place of Jesus really exist? For nearly 1,700 years, the tomb was thought to lie inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
Sepulchre?
Sepulchre.
Thanks, audience.
Keep it up. Yeah.
But there's never been solid scientific proof that the much altered shrine called Edical? I should have read it.
Edible?
I have no idea.
is the place Jesus was interred.
The edible concept.
Now a team led by Professor, and now here we go, they're giving some reference points here. A team led by Professor Martin Bendel of England's Oxford University believes parts of the original rock-cut tomb remain within the present 19th century structure. The amazing discovery links the building of the earliest history of the Christian era. We believe we can prove this is indeed the tomb of Jesus. Bendel says, there is nothing inconsistent with the type of tomb described in the Gospels and the tomb in Jerusalem. Although excavations are still being carried out, most scientists now agree Professor Bendel has solved a major Bible mystery.
Most
Yes,
scientists
yes.
agree.
Jeff?
So what they're saying is it's like the tombs they described in the Bible, and it's a tomb in Jerusalem.
Yes.
Therefore,
Okay.
it's the
I
tomb,
wonder
yeah.
how many there are.
Scientists,
Quite a few, huh?
Basically a hole in the ground, wasn't it? They think they found the right hole.
The right hole.
It's consistent about this hole and the one that they described in the Bible.
And that's making the assumption that Jesus Christ is a real person, which next week we'll be discussing more detail on. We think he's all a myth too. So
have a whole
They
show
do
on
that with
Uh,
everything.
Sorry, Arlo, didn't catch that.
I was just saying they do that with everything. I used to get this Christian Scientist thing handed out to me every morning, and wow, they'd say, oh look, it's a flower pot. It was Christ's flower pot.
it was Christ's flower pot. we can just barely hear you in here, Arlo. I wonder if it's coming through on the TV. If our TV audience can.
Hit the God button.
That gives me a chance to remind everyone that this is December 20th. We are live. We're taking your phone calls live on the air. We love hearing from everyone out there. It's your chance to talk to the largest group of atheists ever on TV, as far as I know. It set some kind of record here. And we want to thank Zumba's Coffee for donating the coffee this morning. I appreciate that. And the group appreciated it too. And we're getting more camera help here. Thanks,
There was
Kellen.
one in there about the devil, though, in 666.
Yes, okay, I'm sorry. Get back on down there. You want?
Oh, whichever.
I'm just going in order, but we can go on down to the. Why is 66 the number of the beast? The Bible considers the number 7 holy and perfect, beginning with Genesis 2:2. And on the seventh day, God ended his work. For that reason, the number 6 falls short of perfection and will always signify something imperfect and corrupt. Thus, the number of the beast, 666, represents the ultimate evil and rottenness. Dr. Kenosha notes that the Roman Emperor Nero, the most decadent, corrupt man of his time, could be the beast of Revelation.
Now, wouldn't 555 be even
Yeah.
less perfect?
Worse.
And wouldn't that make the worst number like 111 or 0?
Or just 0,
Or the
yeah.
Trinity.
I don't think they had it.
Or infinity.
The Trinity, 3 is a
I don't think
mess.
they had a 0 then.
Isn't 8 also as much not 7 as 6 is?
Yeah.
Is 18 3 times as worse?
No, we're now numerology. We're going to base.
Yes, they're pulling out numerology out of the Bible there. Yes, excellent point.
666 means the beast stutters.
And again, they don't give us any way of determining who Dr. Kenosha,
Last name only. The sun scientist.
What his degree is and where he got that degree. Could be a
Doctor of
PhD
theology.
from
Doctor of Theology.
Doctor of Theology. There you go. And,
I mean, you wouldn't expect him to sing any other song than this song.
Oh, yeah.
excellent point. And, does the Bible tell us how many people are in heaven?
144,000.
Yes.
That's it?
According to Psalm 68, verse 17, the chariots of God are 20,000, while Deuteronomy 33, verse 2 says that he comes with 10,000s of saints. I just worded with 10,000s of saints. It just so he's got more than one 10,000, I guess. Just worded weird. But Revelation 5:11 increases that number to 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands. Dr. McNeil says the
Can't get more
ancients had
precise
no,
than that.
Yeah, right. Those are mathematicians there.
As they can count.
Dr. McNeil says that the ancients had no way of estimating large numbers and that the concept of millions was unknown to them. They couldn't even count soldiers correctly, often referring to the army only as a great host. Revelation is telling us that there are so many people in heaven that they can't be counted. 10,000 times 10,000s and thousands more, and that there's plenty of room for everyone.
What?
But no.
Okay, go ahead.
Not everyone. Remember, was it Bush who was quoted as saying only Christians?
Excellent point.
I mean,
That was our Governor Bush, right?
Yeah.
Forget
Governor Bush.
Yeah, the younger Bush, the shrub.
The shrub, yeah.
But is there a number that's too high for us to count? Is that possible?
Well, there's plenty of room, and if you can space them as far apart as you want, too.
Well, I didn't think souls had mass anyway, so how much room do you need?
You could cram a lot of them into.
We do have
in a matchbox.
We do have a caller here, folks. Let's try it again and see if we got any technical problems. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Hi. I'm a visitor from Houston and just came across your show on cable. So, anyway, my question is concerning atheism seems to be a response to a belief in a theistic God. Is that correct?
That's one way of putting it. Yes.
Well, let me ask you this. What about religions that believe in, just not one, divine being, but let's say,
I think I understand your question.
like animism?
I prefer the definition no beliefs on or about the supernatural, and then that would cover multitude. It doesn't have, but right now in the United States, the theocratic right seems to be dominating it. So, when you think religion, most people first thought is the Christian religion.
Okay. Well, the second question is, what would your response be to, let's say, to mystical experience? And I'm defining mystical experience, and I guess how William James defined it. Because, for example, Zen Buddhism, you can, for example, a lot of people that are Zen Buddhists are basically agnostics, are atheists.
I've heard that.
However, in Zen, the emphasis is upon samadhi, or which is a quote-unquote mystical experience.
I'd love to get my audience, since we have the special guest of the audience today, I'd love to get some of their responses to that. Anybody would like to respond to that? Anyone?
Well,
sure.
Although I hear about people having mystical experiences, I haven't had one. When somebody else has one, as long as they're not going to use what they got from it to harm others, I say, bully for you.
All right.
Excellent. And I also say that there's a lot out there that science is still not able to answer. So just because we don't know the exact process or answer to it doesn't mean automatically put it in supernatural forces behind it. We'd much rather search and find the real answer.
Right, and that seems to be one of the, there's one prominent neurologist, that I don't recall his name right now, but he's a professor emeritus of neurology from the University of Colorado School of Medicine, and his premise, he just wrote a book that came out last year called Zen of the Brain, that was published by MIT Press, and his premise is that with that meditation or quote-unquote other techniques that are used, for example, by, let's say, Zen Buddhists, tend to create, the practice of meditation itself tends to create physical changes in the brain. These changes in turn give rise to mystical experience. So what he's trying to do is come up with a biology of mystical experience. Now, of course, just because one has a mystical experience doesn't necessarily mean that this comes from some kind of quote-unquote external force, some kind of spirit or anything like that. It's something that comes from within the brain itself, that occurs within the brain.
All right.
But still, it's still a mystical experience.
Yeah, but it can be answered. But Sue had a point here. I'd like to get Sue involved.
One?
My point is that a lot of these mystical experiences are invoked purposefully by using substance, many different ways, by substances, as in peyote or
That's correct.
other
yes.
things, or by sleep deprivation, or by hunger, or inducing fatigue. And, you know, those are things that have been used over the years to get to that other, you know,
Altered state, I guess.
Let me mention to the call, we don't have a call screener this week, so just let the phone keep ringing, because I will get to you eventually. But we are live, and I will get to you eventually. Yeah. Any other points there from the audience, or? Oh, okay. And any other points there, caller? Because I'd like to get some others in.
All right, thank you.
All right, you have a great day, and welcome to Austin. It's always nice to see people from out of town catching our show. Yes. Let's go on down to next caller.
Hi, I like the topic that you've been following about mysticism and all that.
Sure.
I find mysticism is something that if you experience it, and you don't have a reference point, you know, it's almost worthless to try to explain, because, you know, I mean, people want to say that, sleep deprivation, for example, you're just releasing neurochemicals in your head, and
right.
And you know, it's somewhat akin to dreaming while you're awake.
True.
So, but going back to supernatural, isn't anything that's beyond current science supernatural?
Oh.
No, here we go.
Response time. Response time.
Yes.
Okay. Of course, when we're talking about definitions of words, and you can always define words to mean whatever you want them to mean, but if you say there is supernatural stuff because there is stuff that science doesn't know yet, then you've just opened up all possibilities that you can possibly imagine. Those are things we have to seriously consider. We don't have to seriously consider anything that we haven't actually discovered yet. A much more useful definition of supernatural stuff would be things that violate not just the known laws of nature, but the actual laws of nature, whatever they happen to be.
Well, that's creating another definition. I mean, if you were to put a word to what you just described, that would not be supernatural. That would be
wait a minute.
It would be something different, like because supernatural is beyond or above known
nature.
Known nature.
This is an excellent
nature. No, this has nothing to do with known. But again, sure, we could argue definitions. I'm talking now about how useful the definitions are. Okay, and using the term supernatural for stuff science doesn't know yet, unfortunately, carries all this baggage of what is implied by the term supernatural that is not at all proven or even suggested by the fact that there are things we don't know yet.
Right. Well, let's consider hypothetically that within all matter there is some sort of X element, and X element is like the basis for spirit.
Why are we considering this?
Just hypothetically.
Okay.
Now, and this X whatever property that is the sort of consciousness, hypothetically speaking. Just because we don't understand it in the present time doesn't mean that it can't exist.
It's not
okay. Can I respond?
Yeah,
to
go ahead, Jeff.
All right, I'm sorry. I don't mean to take up so much time.
And callers, stay on the line. Let the phone ring. We will get to you. We don't have a call screen.
This is the point I'm trying to make. Of course, we are not omniscient. Therefore, there are things that are true that we just don't know about. However, that does not lend justification to any idea that you come up with and want to talk about. It does not mean that all those things are true. All it means is that those things might be true, and to find out how likely they are, you have to compare them with the evidence that we've got. A thing that is true that we know nothing about is just as worthless to us as something that is not true, okay? Until we have evidence showing that something is true, we have no reason to seriously consider it.
Well, in the name of science, I think we should consider consider, possibilities. I mean, if you
No, that is a misconception about science. Scientists consider things on the basis of the evidence, and when you're talking about something like this X particle in atoms that is the root of the soul, that is something we have no evidence for. Science just doesn't go there. If we ever come across evidence for that, and of course scientists look for just indications of whatever. If we come across evidence that points to that, then science will examine it, but not before.
Well, how could we explain long-range telepathy without it? Without some sort of
it hasn't been proven.
It doesn't happen, sir.
There's
an explanation.
There is no credible scientific proof that I've seen for long-range telepathy or whatever you just said. Is that the term you used?
Yeah. About remote viewing? Or?
Yeah, something.
Yeah, well, it's along the lines of remote viewing.
I got a bunch of other callers.
Remote viewing is a crock.
I got a bunch of other callers, but if you got any proof to the...
Well, just personal experiences.
Okay, then...
I couldn't prove it to you if I wanted to.
All right.
Okay.
You have a great day and a super solstice. All right, let's... I don't know which one came in first. We're just taking them random.
Hello.
Good morning, caller.
Yes, I just heard the last gentleman, Jeff, make a comment about until something's proven, it's useless.
No, that's not what I said.
Okay, what did you say?
What I said was, until we have evidence indicating that a thing might be true, it looks exactly the same to us as a thing that isn't true. Right. And so we can't be taking the fact that there are things that are true that we don't know as an excuse to believe stuff that we don't even have evidence for.
And this...
And I just had a question about
sure.
that. Did the other guy have a comment you wanted to make real quick?
Go ahead. It reminds me of the Carl Sagan quote. Incredible claims require incredible proof. So that's all I want to point out. But go ahead, caller.
Well, my question is this: since we don't have enough information to conclude that atheism is true, why do you believe in that?
Because atheism is not a positive belief.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
And hold on just a second. Let me finish my statement. Because it is a negative, since it is a universal negative, and it's impossible to be proven.
My goodness.
Well, sir, you can interrupt me and make statements like that if you want, but is it a universal negative?
Your definition
is atheism the statement that there is no God?
My statement is we have no beliefs on or about the supernatural.
So you're an agnostic.
No.
Or, I'm sorry.
That's my definition of it. And see, that's where we run into the biggest problem with Christians. There is definition over what seems like such simple little words.
Well, sir, just to interrupt you for a second, the word atheist means that you don't believe in any God. It means that you believe in no deity. Now, the term agnostic means that you don't know. I mean, it's derived from agnostic, which means ignorant.
Okay, you brought up an excellent point. Let's get some more definitions from my audience here.
I just want to mention.
I've already told you what those are defined as.
I hit the God button. I just want to mention atheism without theology.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Anybody else in the audience want to give their definition of atheism?
Well, atheism, agnosticism, I think you mentioned. Agnosticism is not, you don't know about God. It is a statement that you do not think that God is knowable. Big difference there.
That's not what the word means, sir, but that's frivolous. It's a frivolous conversation. It doesn't matter. That's not my point.
We brought it up. You brought it up.
Okay, but that's not my entire point, okay?
Okay, then. All right, well, you did say that, and I wanted to say
okay, anyone can pick up a dictionary and look at what those words mean. My point is this.
I'm talking to you about Huxley is the person who defined agnosticism. He coined the word, and that's what he said it meant.
Well, I'm just talking about what the Latin root is of the word, where the constructed.
You're playing definitions, trying to define atheism.
Sir, I'm not playing anything.
Yeah, okay. Well, the person who defined it.
Well, let's go past that point then.
Okay,
your next point.
Okay, exactly. Well, I'm just interested to know how something which is not proven, like atheism, whether you say it can or can't be proven. The gentleman on the left there apparently says something with that.
That's your definition.
We're not playing with the Christian definition.
Okay. Well, then, since we're playing all these words, can you prove atheism? Can you prove your belief as a fact of science? As a fact of science, yes or no? Can you?
Alita.
Okay.
Well, I will say that on a personal level.
Well, yes or no? Can you?
Let her answer.
It has been my personal experience only that in my life I tried belief in the supernatural and it wasn't very workable And so I'm here commending atheism as a more workable lifestyle.
Well, ma'am, I tend to believe in science. I'm not going to take your personal feelings for it. Otherwise, why shouldn't I take a Christian's personal feelings for it?
Right.
Can you prove it scientifically? Yes or no?
It wasn't.
We can't. You're saying there's a positive
no?
assertion that there is no God, and that's not what it is. So no.
Right.
Yes. Okay. No. Your answer is no. Then so why is it that you don't? Why don't you? Well, I think your questions are sometimes weird. Why don't you take the same sort of understanding you have for atheism, which is unprovable, and assign some of that to Christianity, which you say is unprovable? Why don't you? Why do you dog Christianity so much if your own religion
they make a positive assertion that there is a God?
Pardon me?
They make a positive assertion that there is a God, and we're not making a positive assertion that there is no God.
So why don't you let someone consider the evidence for that as well?
The burden of proof lies on the person making the positive claim.
Absolutely.
Atheism is not a positive claim. We are not under a burden of proof.
You're absolutely right.
I thought you said that you're in favor of science. You should know this. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I think that the bottom line of the fact is that your statement that something that you can't be proven is you did make the statement, and I'll paraphrase.
No.
You forced us into that
the burden of proof is on the person making the positive claim.
I'm going to take my recorder. I'm going to take my recorder and play back what you just said. Okay.
All right. You have a great day. And have a super solstice.
And Darwin bless you.
And let me thank Zumba's Coffee again.
Thanks, Zumba.
Yeah.
We need today. Yeah.
And thank Mary Sue had the Life of Brian party at her house. Yes. Excellent. That's something we do at every solstice. We celebrate the solstice.
Annual party.
That's something we started here with Atheist Community of Austin, our tradition there. We are live on the air, and we got a bunch of callers backed up here. Everybody having fun this morning?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
We're gonna have more fun.
Good morning, caller.
Hello?
Good morning.
Yeah, I was listening to the earlier caller.
Yes.
Christianity and everything, and I just want to say, God rules, Baldy. What's the
Yeah, he was on hold for something.
He'll come back too. We'll wait another 20 minutes, I'm sure.
Good morning, caller. Thanks, Arlo. Good morning, caller.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. Are you talking to me?
I thought it was.
Oh, hi.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were just waiting. I was waiting for someone to intercede before I got on to you.
No, we don't have a call screener this morning. Our call screener is on the set this morning.
Oh, well, good morning. I had a question. I'm not going to stay on the line, but I just wanted to... No, I'm not going to say...
Sure.
Christianity rules. But I just had a question. Maybe somebody could clarify this up a little bit with me.
Sure.
I was watching a popular show on Discovery the other day, and it had to do with Darwinism, or rather evolution.
Yeah, I saw it.
As a horse is a horse is a horse will always be a horse, or a bird is a bird is a bird, and a reptile to become a bird would be impossible. And maybe you could all clear that up, or at least put a couple of comments in the air. Thank you.
Oh, Michelle's shaking her head no. That was the first one I thought of there. I think you're going about trying to say something about transitional forms. Ma'am? Oh, I guess you hung up. Oh, but she brought up evolution. So anybody want any points on evolution they'd like to?
Yeah, I didn't really hear a question.
It was a TV
I saw
show
a show about some stuff.
About Darwinism and evolution, saying that a bird is a bird is a bird, therefore there's no transitional forms.
Well,
I'm no scientist.
We don't think that's true.
Yeah, we think there's thousands of transitional forms in the museums right now, in the fossil record that we have in the museums.
We had one on the show last week, a little turtle.
And a turtle, excellent. So there are also living transitional forms.
And there are documented cases of a species transitioning, changing over time. It's been observed.
Yes. Well, let's try some more callers, see what happens here. Good morning, caller.
Hi, Atheist.
Hi, Mary.
I've never seen such a big group of good-looking atheists in my life.
This many together in one place can't be wrong.
Right? It's working for y'all.
Thank you.
I was listening to that caller, and I could hear the hate leaking out.
It was a long time.
Over the phone, yes.
Right? And I just got up this morning, and it kind of hurt my stomach. But what I wanted to say is, I've had experiences. See, I grew up as a throwaway kid in Texas, and I didn't have access to the institutions, so I had a whole other thing that was open to me. And I've had experiences of unity consciousness, but there was no hierarchy on it. You know what I mean? It was just like feeling that I was part of the whole thing, which we really are.
Yeah, we're all part of the universe.
Right, exactly, and that's all it was. I felt tight with it, and it felt really good, but there was no big boss there. It was just, here I am, here you are, and we can have fun if we want to, or we can be mad at each other over our definitions if we want to. I don't want to be mad over definitions. It's going to be the holiday, and whatever you want to call it, if it makes you feel good, I don't see any harm in it.
There you go.
You know, it doesn't have to be one way. It doesn't have to be one person's way. Nobody's the boss.
Well,
we're all here to be the boss.
Yeah, well, Christmas comes so commercialized nowadays. The religious aspect of it is coming second.
Actually, Santa Claus rules.
Santa Claus rules. There you go.
Yeah, but Santa Claus is supposed to be a nice guy.
Supposed to be. That's the fact of the matter.
Well, listen, I'm going to let y'all go. Y'all have a good holiday, okay?
All right.
Bye, Joe.
Thanks, Mary. And you have a super solstice. All right. Callers are backing up there. We've got a bunch here this morning. Good morning, caller.
Hello?
Hello.
Howdy.
Yes, I was just wanting to comment on that gentleman earlier.
Sure.
He was wanting us to prove a negative, and I run into that a lot when I'm discussing theology with a lot of my friends, and I've come to realize that atheism has a lot of definitions, but mainly it's a lack of belief in a God, and we would be more than willing to believe in a God if we were provided with proof of that.
That's exactly right.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah, we got the audience agreeing here with you. The whole, and we feel that they're the ones that's making the claim. They need the ones to come up with the proof.
Well, exactly. It's not like I'm not willing to believe in a God. It would be a great thing if we had this person looking over us and taking care of us, and I'd be the first to jump on a bandwagon, but before I jump, you got to give me something to believe in, and I just don't see the evidence today.
Would you get ready to say something, Arlo?
Oh yeah, I was just going to mention that, that guy's definition, that guy earlier's definition of atheism, wasn't that intheism? Someone had called in about that before, a disbelief in God.
Yeah,
there's a word for him.
And the definition that I've seen several definitions of atheist in several different dictionaries. So we run into that problem all the time, though, when you discuss anything with the Christians, is their definition of simple little words are totally different than what ours are.
Okay, well, I just wanted to call in and get in my 2 cents.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
You have a great day.
Unfortunately, these dictionaries were written by Christians. A lot of bias. I have a really old dictionary where it says one who rejects the Lord or something like that.
There you go.
It's hateful and wicked, too.
One thing I like about the definition that there's no beliefs on or about the supernatural is that it leads to a view of the world or the universe where things are real.
Excellent point.
Where, when something happens that you can't explain, you don't automatically jump to the conclusion that there's magic or some supernatural force taking place. It's something that you can investigate, and to me, it's not as scary a world. It's a better place to live when there's no demons or supernatural forces at play that would capriciously do whatever they want with history or facts or the laws of nature.
We also realize what a finite being we really are and what short time we have here, and we try to make it a better place while we're here.
Exactly.
All right, bunch of callers. Let's keep going here. Good morning, caller.
God rules, Baldy.
Can't believe you got back through there again.
We got no screener.
Yes.
We have a call screen.
Yes.
Oh, we do now.
Good morning, caller.
Hey, I called in just a second ago. Could I very briefly just finish the last point I was going to make?
Sure.
I'm fully aware of the fact you can't prove a negative. Okay. I just wanted to make the point that whenever the gentleman made the statement before and during my call that until something is proven, it's just like something else that's false. It's useless to use that.
That's not what I said.
Okay, just clarify your statement one more time so I know exactly what you said.
I said that something about which we have no evidence looks exactly the same to us as something that simply isn't true.
Okay, great. Then that was your exact statement, sir. My only point was this: that since atheism, since it's impossible to prove atheism, that's a contradiction from what you just said, because you believe in atheism.
Atheism is not a positive claim.
It's a negative claim. Right.
No, right.
So it's impossible.
Have to be proven,
but isn't it impossible to prove it? So you're believing something you can't prove, aren't you? Isn't it useless to you?
In the absence of proof of the positive claim that God exists, the only alternative is atheism.
Okay, sir, you can try and shift that and use it by default if you want, but if you cannot prove atheism. Can you prove atheism?
That's how the advancement of human knowledge works.
Why do you believe atheism if you can't prove it? You just said you don't believe things you can't prove. But no, I know it can't be proven. I know that it can't be, but why do you believe it since it can't be? Isn't it as foolish as something else? Isn't it foolish if it can't be proven? That's what you said.
Theism is the positive claim.
I know that.
Atheism is the negative claim.
Right. Why would you believe atheism then?
You agree that you don't have to prove the negative claim.
I say you can't. It's impossible to.
You don't have to. If there is a positive claim, the burden of proof lies on the person making the positive claim, and that's Christians.
Sir,
Christians prove
that's not true, sir.
The default is atheism.
No, it's not. Sir, you're trying to draw a distinction. You're trying to play word games now.
This is the way it is.
Sir, no, that's not the way it is. Just because something cannot be proven doesn't mean that somehow you can just say, oh yeah, I believe in atheism, and since it can't be proven, I don't have to attempt to prove it. Sir, the bottom line is that it cannot be proven, and you said you don't believe in things that you cannot prove. That's a contradiction, sir.
You can disprove atheism by showing that there's a God. And when you do that, you get back to us.
And if you can't prove it, there you go. We've invited him on our show several times. We have an extra chair for God if he wants to come.
All right, let's try caller.
What's going?
Good morning, caller.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. A couple of points. First of all, I noticed that a lot of your show seems to be consumed with challenging Christianity versus all forms of different theist ideas and so on. Could you elaborate on that a little?
That's totally by accident.
They call us, too.
But the theocratic right is so well organized, and the Christians are so well organized that they're the ones that call us and give us a hard time. We'd much rather be talking to atheists all day. We'd much rather have atheists call us and tell us what their problems are and their events and everything else going on in their lives. But unfortunately, we get these Christians that call up and think that they can prove God scientifically, or
over the phone,
or or come up with prophecies and everything else that's supposedly true and all this other crap.
Redefine us too.
I do have the possible proof, although I'm neither a scientist nor mathematician. But having gambled a little bit, I would say that statistics could be used in analyzing theist propositions versus atheist propositions. I don't think that atheist propositions have ever, that's zero, been disproved, where we even have jails full of theists using different scams and so forth.
Okay. That's an interesting...
I wonder what the scientists there would say about the use of statistics
I don't know
on negatives and positives.
Anyone who feels qualified to speak on statistics? Anyone would like to? But that's an interesting point. I don't know of anybody that's been killed for atheist, for being an atheist. I mean, present. Yeah.
In the past.
In the past.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I'm thinking.
I mean, the mind readers, the healers, those sort of folks also.
It is actually happening on the other side of the globe too. In America, we don't have to do that so much, but in Bangladesh right now, they've got a trial going on for heresy. An atheist is about to be executed. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Wow. And then a little fun for your solstice celebration. That's the comparison between Santa and Jesus. Break down their characteristics and their claims and so on. And somebody please tell me what, if any, differences there are between the acknowledged fable of Santa versus the claims of truth about Jesus. And thanks, and y'all have a great time.
Thanks.
Yeah, have a great day.
That's
All right.
an interesting point.
Yeah, the comparison there, isn't it? Oh, Earl.
I'll take first stab at that. As far as I know, Santa Claus never cursed a tree, struck animals, or claimed to cure adolescent onset epilepsy by casting out demons.
There you go.
I'd want to mention something too. there's a friend of the of our family, and they're Christian, and they have a child. And when they had finally told their child that Santa wasn't real, he said, "Well, I'm going to look into this Jesus business too."
That's a great story. Great story. Well, I want to thank Zumba's Coffee again. Would you like to get your face on camera? This is Antoinette. Sure.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah, well, there we go. Yes,
Coffee lady.
Antoinette.
Hi, I'm Antoinette Gonzalez, and I just wanted to invite you all to Zumba's.
Well, you can't do that. I'm sorry. You can't call him down there. You can say you do work. She works at Zumba's, or you own it. Do you
Actually, I own Zumba's.
Yeah, she's the owner of Zumba's. I'm sorry, you can't.
But that's okay.
But we do want to thank you for donating the coffee.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Yes, thank you. All right. We got so many callers.
Okay, whatever.
Okay. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I want to take a stab at something. All
right, Dave, that's your second call.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're good at that. Proving theology as in the broadest. I've told you that I'm an agnostic, but I consider myself a spiritual agnostic.
Okay.
And
I like that term.
Because I don't claim that any particular religion is foolproof, because it's interpreted by people, even those who were perhaps prophets in some way, visionaries or whatever. They had their own baggage that got put in the writings, whatever writings.
Right.
I mean, you look throughout history, and there's a pattern of this. If whoever is writing about it was inspired, there's obviously an element of their own soul, their own self, in their writings. But going back to proving that there is something, sort of a conscious glue, that we're part of something bigger, or perhaps I kind of like to look at it this way. That we might be a transitionary life form. I mean, we might be.
I've heard other people say that too.
Closer to, Godhood, understanding of our consciousness in the universe.
It could be just a big cosmic joke that we have the consciousness to realize, that the whole idea that we're able to ask why we're here could be the whole big cosmic joke on us. That there really is no answer.
Yeah, well,
that's
certainly a possibility. But there's other alternatives, and I know that some of the forms of spiritualism that are throughout this planet are not as organized, and they're more directed at the source than someone else's interpretation. And let me give you an example of that.
Well, quickly, I got other people.
I went to a rave out on an organic farm a few years ago, and this one guy started. It was overcast and raining and all that, and this one guy started going around telling everybody, that the sky was going to part at dawn, that the sky would clear up over them and part, and I thought, well, this is rather bizarre, but a lot of people were, in altered states and of course enjoying the concert and everything, and it happened. It happened just like he said it would. Now, he didn't cause it, and he didn't claim to cause it, and he didn't even want to cause it. It was a collective effort by the members that were there.
So we have several people.
If I hadn't witnessed it, I wouldn't believe it happened, and I wasn't one of those taking any of the mind-altering substances. So I know it really happened.
Well, we have several in my audience here would love to speak to this. David?
I was just going to say, did the sky also part the morning before and the morning after?
No, in fact, I've never seen a phenomenon like that where the basically a hole in the clouds developed directly over where we were, and it spread as if there was a high pressure where we were.
Are you implying then that his action caused this?
No, not at all. But the collective consciousness, perhaps, and maybe this is how some of the miracles around the dude named Jesus happened, 2,000 years ago. Because I believe he was a human, and I believe that maybe some supernatural things occurred around him, but maybe they were a more natural thing than we understand.
Well, if you take a group of people who are in the habit of guessing and predicting and divining future events, as the Greeks certainly did a lot, once in a while you'll find a lucky strike, and if the circumstances.
Well, I don't think it was predicting. I don't think you could predict something as bizarre as that, and I don't think that was his point. I think his point was to will it to happen, and we actually, people were chanting. And other things which are common to a lot of the so-called pagan religions. It was rather bizarre, but it happened. Go ahead,
Jeff.
I can agree with you that kind of thing can start a movement. Yeah.
Yeah. The one
yes, he can start his own religion there. Yes.
The one holding his hand. Well, did you have something?
Yeah, the point I wanted to make is, boy, if there is this power that human beings wanting stuff to happen makes it happen, it would be awfully easy to test it experimentally. And there have been a lot of attempts to test this sort of thing experimentally, and the evidence of such tests yielding results is awfully, awfully poor. You would think if all it took was get a few hundred people together wanting the same thing at the same time would change the weather.
Well,
you would think that would be easy to demonstrate. But
I think it was beyond that in that the people were believing it was happening, or at least a lot of people.
Okay, fine. Under whatever conditions, it would be really easy to test that. And the fact is that tests have failed utterly to convince anybody who's serious about testing.
Yeah, well, I would put it to you this way. I don't know of. I think the majority of the people that were there and experienced it would tell you that if they were asked to prove this to the world or show this to the world, they would say no way. Because and the simple reason is that a lot of people would fall back on whatever religion they have, and just with just a greater intensity, thinking, well, there really is a God, and I really have to do all this bullshit that's written down in the books.
Are you one of those people who would not want to provide evidence?
Yes.
Okay, bye.
See, well,
no, really. How dare you expect to be taken seriously if you refuse to make an effort to provide evidence? How dare you?
Well, I'm just saying. If now, I would put this challenge to you. Quickly. I would say, and quickly, it'd be possible for you to experience something along the lines of what I just described that happened. If you were to seek out the people that are doing these kinds of things and join them.
What good would it do me, sir? You're one of them, and you refuse to make an effort to provide evidence. What good is that to me?
I tell you what, I'll probably meet you someday, and if you really have this attitude, I could probably provide some evidence.
I'm sorry. Let's go on to other people here, Dave.
Thanks.
I want to get Alita's point on there. I'm sorry, Arla.
I just want to mention, I think he encountered a really precise weatherman, perhaps.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what? Okay. Yeah, he's probably a meteorologist, or maybe this guy just goes around to every rave every time saying this guy's going to come. Once in a while he's lucky, and that's enough to get him some people. And also I wanted to say that about a week ago on the news, on one of the TV stations, they had this show about this little girl who was cured of a brain tumor by a prayer circle. And while I was glad to hear that the little girl got over her problem, I was kind of upset because you heard about the girl who allegedly got cured by the prayer circle, but you never heard about the thousands of other people that were prayed for just as fervently who didn't get anything.
Well, I'd like to make a point about clouds.
Sure. And introduce yourself. You weren't here when we introduced everyone else.
I'm Paul Wilson.
Okay, thank you.
It's very common for cloud structures to change when the sun comes up.
Yes.
And if you've ever been out on a foggy morning, you got to realize that what fog is a low-lying cloud. It's a cloud that's really low level. It's down on the ground. The sun comes up and it burns away the fog by raising the temperature of the air so that the little mist droplets actually turn into vapor instead of little droplets of liquid. So it's really not terribly surprising if the cloud cover changes when the sun comes up. And it's not really necessarily a miraculous event that someone could predict that might happen.
I agree.
It happens.
All right. You want to try the Unsung Atheist?
I guess so.
Yeah, all you callers that are on there, please hang on. We will get to you. We do our Unsung Atheist Hero of the Week.
Yeah, this is a bit called Unsung Atheist Hero or Heroine of the Week, and my pick for this week is Clarence Darrow, who was an attorney. Born in 1857 in Kinsman, Ohio, to intellectual, free-thinking parents. He studied law and was admitted to the Ohio bar. He moved to Chicago in 1887 and joined the effort to free anarchists charged with murder in the Haymarket riot. Darrow argued unpopular cases, successfully clearing labor radical Big Bill Haywood, who had been charged in the assassination of a former Idaho governor. He fought passionately against the death penalty, but his most notorious case was the 1925 Scopes monkey trial in Dayton, Tennessee. A teacher in Tennessee, John Scopes, was charged with teaching evolution, and Darrow was there to defend him. In the famous courtroom showdown, the judge refused to let Darrow present scientific evidence about evolution, so Darrow called the prosecutor to the stand as an expert on the Bible and exposed him as an ignoramus with a childlike mind. Scopes was convicted, but the trial was a victory by science over superstition. Darrow went on to argue other unpopular cases defending the weak, the poor, and minorities. He wrote essays dismissing the notions of gods, devils, heavens, and hells. His timeless words are a beacon to freethinkers everywhere. And every week I like to have a quote from this particular person I feature, and this is Clarence Darrow, and here it is. Quote, "Preachers pray for rain, knowing full well that no such prayer was ever answered. When a politician is sick, they pray to God to cure him, and the politician almost invariably dies. The modern clergyman who prays for rain and the health of the politician is no more intelligent in this matter than the primitive man who saw a separate miracle in the rising and setting of the sun." Unquote. My unsung atheist hero or heroine of the week. Thank you.
Yes.
I want to recommend a film out there, Inherit the Wind. It's a wonderful film based on the Scopes monkey trial.
I want to get one more in. I know we got a bunch of callers here on the line, but this one just cracks me up. It's when and where will Christ return to earth? These people actually make a prediction and put it down in writing. The prophecies of the Bible concerning the last days are being rapidly fulfilled. In chapter 24 of the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus himself tells us all that things will happen before he returns, including, "And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, for nation shall rise against nation, and the kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in various places." Dr. Kemp says, "All this sounds like headlines from today's news. There's no doubt the second coming is approaching very fast, possibly by the end of the century." Thank you.
Do they say when?
And sound effects of wars.
There are many learned theologians that believe that their reading of the prophecy of Christ will return at 1 second past midnight on January 1st, the year 2000. And I'm trying to get everybody in the habit of, that's not 2000, that's 2000. Rome time. Well, we count centuries. We don't count the years. We count centuries. That's about 6 in the evening of December 31st Eastern time. So here in the United States, it'll still be 1999. I don't know if we'll. And then it says, makes that prophecy prediction there, and then turns around and says, "I don't know if we will see the prophecy fulfilled as the year 2000 dawns, but I do believe the end of time is almost here, and even now we should be getting ready to greet Christ when he returns."
Now, where's he going to appear, in Rome?
Yeah, because it says the title to the paragraph says when and where, but it does not say where.
Oh. Okay.
And then, like I said, right after that paragraph, he says, "I don't know if it'll be fulfilled."
But he's proven it.
Yeah, it talks about the rapture, though, and then in talking about that, it says Jesus will return to Israel or Jerusalem. And so maybe we can expect that area to be not ravaged by war.
Oh, wait a minute, there
due
is
to the Armageddon.
5 leading, it does down here at the bottom, it does give some references here, so let me, 5 leading biblical experts and top historians helped Sun compile this report. They are Dr.
Don't even.
Hokoko Kanishnu, graduate of University of Tokyo and currently engaged in excavations of religious and historical sites in Iran. Dr. Helen Milner, who graduated from England's Oxford University and is well-known lecturer on the Bible as history. Martin Kemp teaches biblical study courses in California and has translated the Bible into 8 Indian dialects. I didn't know the Indians were dying for their own interpretation there. Dr. Jessica McNeil, a famed archaeologist, darn it, I can talk, currently engaged in missionary work in Africa. Lillian Smith, one of the few outside theologians who ever allowed free access to the Vatican archives. And that's who their scientists are that they used for this article here. All right, let's go back to the callers here. Whoops, hang on. Whoops, sorry, I had 2 on at once. All right, caller.
It's Charles.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. You don't believe in God, huh?
We don't have no beliefs on or about the supernatural.
Well, he's the power source. He makes it rain what we're commanded to do.
And you can prove that.
Yeah, I had a vision of God.
You have a vision of God.
Yeah.
And what was that vision like?
So we're speaking to each other in a dream.
So you had dreams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other claims of your God that you would like to make that you can prove?
Must have been exciting.
Like when the thunder and rain, thunder and lightning.
Right. That's God.
Who's in control of that then? Can't control by itself.
That's a natural phenomenon that is not controlled by any person or being. You have a great day. I'm going to go on to some other callers here. And you have a great solstice there. Let's go on down to another caller.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yes. Hello. Am I on air?
Yes, you are.
Okay. I just like to point out real quick, if I may. There are no interpretations of the Bible. They're just translations.
Good point.
There's multiple translations, but it's all from the same words be used. The other point I had was I keep hearing one of you gentlemen saying that the science will prove things.
Right.
I've heard the statement that science hasn't proven something yet, and why discount it if science hasn't proven it yet? And I'm just wondering. How scientific is it to say that something hasn't been proven yet? What scientific basis do you use to say something will be proven?
Jeff, go ahead. Sorry. I'm trying to figure out what voice he's doing. Is this supposed to be Jimmy
say that
Elvis?
there's some. I'm not the one saying there's this thing that science hasn't proven that we all ought to believe in. That's the Christians who say there's a thing science hasn't proven that we all ought to believe in. So if you don't agree with that, then it's the Christians you're not agreeing with, not us.
You told me personally that making life is something science hasn't done yet.
Wait, did you call last week?
Not last week. That was probably
Making life
a month ago.
Haven't done
Probably about a month ago.
Oh, okay.
Well, you said that to me though. So why are you backing out of it now?
I said that science hasn't made life, but we should believe that science will make life?
No, that's not what I said.
Well, it's not what I said either. So what did I say, and what are you asking me about?
Well, you said that science will prove that one day. And why should we not believe it? Because it will be proven one day. You made that exact statement to me.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
I don't think you did. I've been here for all the shows.
Allow me to try to clarify.
You made a statement earlier in this show
that's
saying that things are not proven yet. It was in this very show. Can you not remember that? I'm just wondering what scientific basis to use to justify that.
Okay.
Do you have
let me attempt to clarify.
All right.
I don't recall saying the exact words you're quoting back to me, but let me attempt to clarify. we know that there are natural forces, right? We know that there is gravity. We know that there is matter. We know that they behave certain ways most of the time. Granted?
Go ahead.
Right. Okay. And then there's a thing we haven't explained yet, which is where life came from. Right. What we do not have is evidence of supernatural forces. So if we're looking for an answer to a question that we have, the only place where we can look for answers to that question is a place where we have evidence, which is natural laws.
Right.
If we get evidence of supernatural stuff, then you can start appealing to supernatural forces as a possible explanation for life.
Something is above
Until
those,
then, we can only appeal to natural law.
And then, caller?
If something's above those natural laws that we witness, then how can you subscribe the merit of that to anything other than what would be supernatural?
If something is above those natural laws,
then how do you explain it?
If there is something
let him finish.
If there is something above the natural laws, that thing has to be proven too, and until it is, we cannot appeal to it as an explanation.
You don't think that a living organism, which is above the natural laws of science?
A living organism? Why must a living organism be above the natural laws of science?
Sir,
What is your evidence for that?
If you will point out to me under where the laws
This
of
is that
chemistry,
same guy again
where the
doing a
laws
funny
of
voice.
chemistry and physics, where the laws.
Okay. And,
I knew it was a fake voice.
the point I'd like to make is up all through the thousands of years, the rain, the snow, every natural phenomenon has been attributed to some supernatural being. And as science grew and we realized what those are no longer attributed to supernatural beings. I think that's evidence enough to show that if we continue at this rate, we're going to find out more and more evidence for a natural cause to supernatural events that have been attributed to religions all these years. So I think it's a very natural assumption to make that we're going to eventually figure it out. We don't have all the answers now, but we will get those answers eventually.
Yeah, we get evidence in bits and pieces that work us up towards, 99% certainty, but we're not going to get this miraculous piece of evidence that makes it 100%.
Yes.
And doing it in a funny voice does not make it any more convincing.
Yeah, that was not Larry Flint.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if that was Elvis or Jimmy Stewart.
I don't know what he was trying to do. Nice touch, but
I like the imitation, yeah.
All right,
The overwhelming majority of biologists don't think that life is above natural law.
Thank you.
Vitalism went out in the last century.
All right. Next caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I was wondering, would y'all agree that there's a lot of prejudice and closed-mindedness with Christianity?
Definitely, there are a lot of narrow-minded people out there that claim to be Christians, yes.
Yeah, well, I would agree with that too, but wouldn't you consider, or couldn't you consider that it might be kind of closed-minded to believe that there couldn't be a God just because there is no evidence?
And Dave, this is your third call, and I'm going to let you go, and we're going to continue on down here.
Really?
Yeah. Anybody like to answer that? Alita?
Not believing in something. I'm sorry. Go on.
Well, I am willing to believe in a God as soon as I have some proof
like a God
given to me that's sufficient for me to believe it. I'm not closed-minded. I mean, if God comes up to me and introduces himself and explains why he's done a lot of the crappy things that he's done over the years,
and apologizes,
maybe I'll believe in him then.
And then, and any Christian that will come up and give me a definition of God, and then turn around and prove that definition, I would not be close. I would more than willing to listen to that. But none of them have defined a God.
No,
that they can
I'd like to meet this last point he mentioned there. I've been atheist for many years, and I have come across a couple of atheists who claim that they could prove that there is no God. And I would agree with him. That's probably a closed-minded person.
Right.
And when I talk to people like that, what they usually do is try to show logically or disprove logically the standard Christian arguments that there is a God. They go into the four omnis, the omnibenevolence, omnipotence, omnipresence, whatever, omniscience, and show that these are incompatible. Logically, such a God could not exist, and they say, therefore, I have proved there is no God. No, they haven't really. So we have to be careful making a positive assertion that there is no such thing as a God, there can be no God. You really can't say that. What you can say is, you're asserting there is a God, you show me some evidence and I'll consider it. And that really should be an atheist position, rather than just being the carbon copy of the reverse of the Christian argument, you know.
And then Paul had a point too. I'm sorry, Jeff.
It's
Go ahead,
very
Paul.
common for people to refute a particular notion of God. That it would be closed-minded to say that there could be nothing that could count as God in somebody's book. But basically, the more interesting a concept of God is, in general, the less likely it is to be true. Just by Occam's razor and by things like the argument from evil. So there are philosophers who do go around disproving the existence of God, but the ones who are serious about it and who are good at it, they're usually disproving some fairly specific notion of God. In particular, a personal God who is what you might think of as a being who cares about us. And if you make your concept of God vague enough, like, say, Spinoza's God, well, Spinoza's God is pretty much just the sum total of all the forces in the universe, and it's like, sure, I believe in that, I just wouldn't call it God, would you?
And Jeff, you had a point?
Yeah, it's people have a lot of trouble with this issue of belief versus non-belief versus disbelief, and assume that if you say you don't believe in a thing, you're asserting the non-existence of that thing. And that's not necessarily the case. To be an atheist, all you have to do is not believe actively in God. You don't have to go as far as to say that you have proven that he doesn't exist. All you have to do is refrain from belief. And that's where most of us are at.
Thank you. All right, let's go try another call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. How are you today?
Fantastic.
Good. I am a Christian. However, I don't want to try to debate with you as to whether or not there is or is not a God. I was looking at some of the bumper stickers you have, and I just wanted to know if you would be like the No Prayer in School bumper sticker.
Right.
I respect your right to say what it is that you do. I spent a number of years in the Army, and I'm a police officer now, and I don't necessarily agree with what you say, but I would defend to the death your right to say it.
Thank you.
Why is it that you seem unwilling to allow Christians to say what they believe, whether it be in public or in a school? If you choose not to pray in school, do not do so, but do not deny people their right to do so.
Yeah, this sticker should be qualified. I really think so anyway. I mean, I like the sticker, but I think it should be qualified by saying no forced prayer in school.
Very good. And I agree with that also.
Okay. Then,
I don't believe that my beliefs need to be pushed on you any more than your beliefs need to be pushed on me.
And we have a fellow veteran here who would like to comment.
Well, yes, I am a veteran, but I'm also a dad, and I feel very strongly about this. If Christian kids want to pray in school, I don't have any problem with that. But the kind of prayers that I heard over the loudspeaker when I was a student, I think it's wrong. I think the proposals that I hear now that my daughter should have to go stand in the hall if she didn't want to participate in these prayers, to me that's hateful and very offensive. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I see. I'm in my 30s. I remember when I was in elementary school and junior high here in Texas, we were afforded the time for silent prayer. They afforded us the time, and those people who did not wish to do so did not have to do so. Or there's a lot of things that have changed. You know, we celebrate Cinco de Mayo instead of San Jacinto Day in Texas now, and I can't understand that either. But no, that was it, and you guys have a good day.
All right, thank you. And that was an open-minded Christian there. Right. Thank you.
I have a point about that.
Oh, sure, Paul.
Yeah, maybe I should look into the camera.
Feel free to stand up, too, if you want.
One of the big problems with prayer in school is that you don't want to single kids out who don't participate. That it's really not fair to make kids who are different be outcasts.
Excellent.
And it's very easy for children to pick on other children who are different and don't go along with the way normal people do it. You don't want to make it a case where anybody who's different is considered not one of us, not normal. And People can pray as much as they want. They can pray at home. They can pray in church. But that's not what school is for in this country. And it's really not fair to kids to make their differences so glaring, because other kids are usually not very nice people when it comes to such things.
Yeah, absolutely right. All right. Caller?
Hi, it's Mary again.
Hello. Hi, Mary.
Well, I hate to have to call twice, but everybody's been doing it and it's making me mad. What's making me mad is they hog all the attention, and it doesn't matter what people believe, and I listen to what they say, and anything that would make them feel like that has got to be something that I will never want to believe in, okay?
Good point.
Well, I'm hoping it is, because I'm really kind of confused about the whole thing, because now you're talking about education. And I was a kid with 180 IQ, and I went to religious schools, and I was not normal, okay? Because I laughed at the religion when I was from a real young age. It seemed really ridiculous to me to bow down to those kind of ideas, and it got me beat up all the time, okay? Every grade I was in, I got at least one good beating. And I'm telling you, prayer in schools is bad for the kids. It divides the kids, and somebody doesn't have any fun, okay? And I'm speaking as the one who didn't have the fun. Those ideas can be harmful, okay?
I appreciate you calling.
Okay, thanks.
You have a great day. Yeah, we're down to like 12 minutes here, so. Good morning, caller. Have a super solstice there, whoever you are. What's going on, caller?
When is the solstice anyway?
December 21st.
Tomorrow.
Oh, cool. And do any of y'all meditate? And if so, isn't that a form of prayer with or without God?
All right. Well, let him answer that.
Pitter-pat.
Does anybody meditate in the group?
I have meditated for relaxation, and no, I don't consider it any sort of acknowledgement of supernatural thingies.
Excellent point. And,
I've done that too, and I can tell you that you don't need any kind of a supernatural inference at all with meditation, and most of it anyway. A lot of good meditation helps a lot of people, and there's simply no correlation with that in prayer. With prayer, you have a supernatural person or entity that you're praying to. But meditation is separate from that. So.
Is meditation a form of mind candy?
Mind candy? Oh,
what is it? I mean, who knows what it is?
Well, okay. There you have it.
I'm sorry, I was getting directions off camera. Let's get some more callers here before we run out of time. Caller?
Hey, good morning, Ray.
Good morning.
Hey, Joe.
Hey,
what a fine-looking bunch of people. This is Michael. I just wanted to call and greet everybody a great solstice, and I hope it's a better New Year next year.
Fantastic.
Y'all have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Caller?
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. What got y'all up out of bed this morning to get the group together and discuss this?
The idea of celebrating the solstice together and letting it, and this I wanted everybody to meet the whole group here. That's not
whole group.
Yeah.
Well, most of the group. Yeah, this is not the whole group. Yeah, but I wanted you guys to meet. That there is an atheist community of Austin, and it's just not me and Joe here.
Okay, so so y'all are getting together to celebrate some solstice or what?
And socialize, but with that fellow atheist.
Oh, okay. So what y'all are doing? Y'all are wandering, right?
Wandering? No.
Sitting here.
Most of the directions. Most of the people that are in our group have already come to the decision that there is no God, so we're not wondering whether or not there is a God.
Okay, I like that. I mean, that's your decision. I've had my own decision. But as you go about life and you seek and you wonder why it is all about what it is, until you do come to the realization that there is another being that has given you life and that does give you joy. And until that light does come to you and it slaps you in the face, you will not know. Until then, you ask the Lord to come into your life to prove something to you. Then you will see a difference. Only until then you ask the Lord for that.
Comedy.
All right. And, we appreciate your comment, and we hope you pray for knowledge.
And Darwin bless.
All right. Let's go on down to the next caller.
Hello.
Hello.
I am a Christian, but I do not believe in fighting over prayer in school, because fighting about any religious issue, I'm talking about the kind of fighting you see going on every day in the newspaper and so forth.
Right.
I believe that defeats the spirit of the love of God that we profess. So forget the fighting.
I wish I could remember that biblical quote, maybe one of you, but Matthew, where it talks about praying and quiet.
Matthew 6:1-6.
Right.
When you pray, don't be out on the streets like the hypocrites praying out loud.
Yeah,
go into your homes and do it in private.
It does say, the Bible does say you can contend, but it does not mean pick up a sword or a gun or something like that. You can contend with words. I have two, may I say two little verses here?
Quickly.
From David's writing?
Sure.
Forever, O Lord, thy word is settled in heaven. Thy faithfulness is unto all generations. You have established the earth, and it abides. I'm old enough to have experienced a lot of miraculous things that have happened, and I attribute them to God. But I've also had some bad stuff to happen, and I attribute it to that other entity that's supposed to be present in our lives.
You the bad things to the devil and the good things to God.
That's right. And I think that the Bible says that God takes the bad stuff and tries to turn them into good stuff, so that we can learn our lessons as we're going through life.
Paul has a point.
Well, I think there's a whole lot of people who can agree that we shouldn't have prayer in the school, including especially Jews in this country. They tend to be very much opposed to it, but a whole lot of Christians also are. And if you look back at the establishment of the principle of non-establishment, of separation of church and state in this country, one of the main reasons why we don't want to be mixing religion and the state is because we've seen what happened in England. And when this country was founded, a large part of the motivation for separation of church and state was to protect the church from the state.
That's right.
Not just to protect the state from the church.
That's true.
And Gary Wills is a liberal Catholic who, he's an excellent writer, and he wrote a book called Under God. And he talks about this, and he talks about how the Founding Fathers saw what happened in England when the Anglican Church became an important political power, and the church became corrupt. And it's very important that if we're going to have churches, that they not be corrupt political institutions. You don't want your preachers being politicians.
That's right. That's right. I think in our ordinary living from day to day, that to go to the church is kind of a place of quiet and solace for us. But when we're in the school, we're there to learn to exist in this world and to make our way in life. So, you know, I just don't believe that there should be all this fighting about an issue like this.
I appreciate your input, and you have a great day. All right, we're down to 6.5 minutes here. Let's see. Good morning, caller.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, can you hear me?
You're on the air. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is Ed. I was just calling to say, oh gosh, I forgot what I was going to talk about now. We got on the school thing. Oh yeah.
We're down to 6.5 minutes.
It's all about proof, and you know, if God is so all-powerful, then surely he could make one little miracle that could prove it all, and we'd all know instantly, you know.
Good point. And Jeff has a point.
Yeah, it's when you say that particular thing to a lot of Christians, they will argue that God doesn't do that because that would take away our free will.
Yeah.
And then I ask them, well, then why was it that God took away Moses's free will and so on and so forth? You start listing the characters in the Bible that were supposed to have gotten direct proof of God's existence.
Right.
They had no free will.
Right, and they call themselves
what was
believers.
Good for Moses is good for us.
Yeah, they call themselves believers, and I guess that's what their whole religion is built on, is believing, as opposed to proof, believing in something that doesn't exist.
All right, I need to go.
Okay.
All right, you have a great day. We're down to 5 minutes here, and Audrey just made it here. Welcome. With 5 minutes left here, there's people that never got to say anything on there. Would you like to say anything? Would you like to say something? Sure.
I want to say hi to my mother and my brother and whoever else is watching at home. And I also want to say hi to my cat, Scuzzy.
So we have... Is your cat a regular viewer of the show here?
Yes, cat.
Anyone else would like to say anything special to the Austin there? And for the solstice here.
Yeah, we love you, Austin.
Yes. the atheist community of Austin does love Austin there. Yes, all of you out there. Sue.
Yeah, atheists watching out there, meet us at the Hot Jumbo Bagel Shop. You can see us all in person.
Yes.
What a thrill.
At 10:30 today.
At 10:30 after the show.
Well,
11-ish.
yeah, it takes us a little time to get down there. We'd like to thank Zumba's Coffee again. Zumba, that they have drive-through espresso and smoothies. I think it's a great idea. Who knows, maybe they'll franchise that out or something. I don't know. Joe?
There's our voicemail. We also have a website, www.atheist-community.org. There it is. I have one thing to say. Bicyclists are out there. Please look twice, car drivers. Thank you.
Joe's a bicyclist.
Yes, ma'am. Good. I have one more thing also.
Sure.
The Austin American Statesman made a big mistake in their report about Muslims dealing with this Hussein attack. And they have a nice little article here, and it's talking about Ramadan. Of course, we're entering the month of Ramadan, and it's very important to them. But they wanted to explain Islam a little better, too, so they put a little block in here talking about the 5 pillars of Islam. And I've read them before, and there was one mistake on the very first one, the very first pillar. The Statesman made a mistake, and that is the profession of faith. Quote, "There is no God but God." And Muhammad is the prophet of God, and the mistake there is that it should say there is no God but Allah. But in the statement here is there is no God but God. And the statesman surely will burn in Muhammad's hell for that. But that is definitely not Allah. Allah is much different from the Christian God. We hear all the time how they're the same God welded together, and that's just not right. So, thanks.
And this gives me a chance here to thank all my crew. I caught several people out there say it's Ray's show, and I've actually caught myself saying Ray's show a couple times. I have a crew here, and it's Atheist Community in Austin. I love you guys for coming out there every week and help me out on the show every week. I couldn't do it without you guys. We got Vic in the control booth. Hasn't got on the camera yet. And if Vic wants to come running in here and get his face on camera, that'd be great.
And
Jim.
Arlo, too.
And Arlo, yes. Unless you got some closing music for us, Arlo.
We should also...
Hey, come on out here, Rick.
Also, we should thank Brian and everybody at ACAC. Thanks a lot for all your help.
Arlo.
Yes, yeah.
And there's Arlo.
That was Arlo's belly.
Hey.
Well, callers, that's it. We're not going to take any more calls. So if you're on hold, right? I mean, if you're ringing, I'm not going to be able to get to you.
Let's look at our... Oh, there's some more of our crew.
Olga.
What's that?
You can't. It's awful dark. Start.
Okay.
Yes. Happy Solstice.
Super Solstice.
December 21st.
And next week, we're doing Jesus Christ, Fact or Fiction. Will be the title next week. David Kent's going to be our special guest. We got a lot of historical evidence saying that he was just a myth. He never existed.
The Pope is coming in January. Look busy. Zumbaz, thank you very much. Double drive-through espresso and smoothie bar, 8100 Burnett Road. All right.
Isn't there going to be a protest?
Yes, hopefully, if he doesn't get too sick and die before coming. He's been canceling dates.
Yeah.
He's been getting sick.
So we need a president.
There's Harry on TV, Alita.
Olga, Arlo, Jim, Vic, Keith.
Oh, they're putting names?
Yeah.
No.
No, just the crew.
Oh, how sweet.
We wish you a super solstice. We wish you a super solstice. We wish you a super solstice and a happy new year.
And always look
on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life.
And we don't.